Welcome back, Tank Tops and Sweaters. It's been a while, but Yvette and Kelly here. And we had to kind of take a little short break just to catch up on life. A lot was happening. Kelly's daughter graduated, my son graduated, and there was just so much happening in between that. Lots of celebrations, lots of tears, lots of emotions, lots of
Mhm.
everything going back and forth. But we are here now, and we're so happy to be back and talking with all of you. Um, this month, we really got back on track and concentrated on our journal prompts and really got into are you surfing the waves? Like it's summertime and we're getting into the swing of things. Are we riding the waves? Are you getting buried in the sand? Is it, are you staying afloat?
Is it both?
Right. Is it both? You could be getting buried and riding the waves at the same time.
Yes.
Um, Summer can kind of be a little bit chaotic. Your schedule is changing and things are just kind of happening left and right. And it's lots of fun, but it also can be overwhelming. So, yeah, we're here just to talk about it for sure. Kelly, our first journal prompt was, are we riding the waves, right?
Right. Are we surfing or sinking? How are you staying organized and giving yourself breaks? No. Was that the first one or the second one?
I think that was the second one, but we can start with that one.
That's the second. That just goes to show you
No.
what it's been like around here.
Yes, there's no particular
Yeah.
order.
Okay. We can start with that one.
Yes.
I feel like it's both. I feel like some days I'm sinking and some days I'm surfing.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing keeping me going is my planner because I am definitely like a visual person. And so I have to write everything down. And so it's like scribbled on, erased, highlighted, everything. It's the only thing like keeping it all together, I guess. Between traveling and graduations and parties and getting ready to be an empty nest and all this crazy stuff happening. I think it's definitely a both and for me. How about you?
Same, same. And I think I'm trying, like, I feel like there's this clock that is ticking down, and
Mhm.
I'm trying to push that aside and I'm trying to allow myself to be in the moment, um, and to really soak that in because I know like next summer and going forward, it's not going to be the same. So just
Yeah.
trying to really enjoy these moments while I have them. And yeah, it's hard because there's so much going on. Like you said, there's
Mhm.
parties, there's get-togethers, there's, work, there's all these things that you're trying to kind of compact into the season of summer. And it's making sure that you're giving yourself those breaks, those little moments of just being able to breathe and not have all the stuff on your
Yeah.
shoulders.
Well, and I think to like create those a few more memories before they go to college
Yeah,
is kind of where we're at too. I feel like,
yes.
instead of sitting around the house on a Saturday night, we're like, hey, let's go down to one of the theme parks and have dinner and ride a ride, or
Yes. Yeah.
there's a concert. Let's go see this concert. We've done multiple concerts. We've done,
Yes.
like things like that. That it's like, I feel like we're trying to fit in. We're not being as picky about saying, oh, we don't have time for that. We're like, oh, we'll make time. We're gonna
Hmm.
make time for those
I love
those moments.
that. Yeah, I love that. It's creating that time and making that time for sure. Definitely. But I feel like, yeah, it can get really overwhelming really fast. And definitely, definitely, your schedule changes. And
Hmm.
and especially since, now it's daylight saving times. I can't remember. I always get confused, but like it's lighter longer. And so you can stay
Yeah.
up later and you can do more things outside or together or whatnot. So It makes it
Then you
really
look at your watch and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so late.
well, for me, it's like my body's saying, excuse you, it's time for
We're
bed.
done.
We go to bed at this time.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah, it's fun though.
Yeah,
It's really, really fun.
it is fun. It's just, I think it's a very different stage. I think this is the first summer, and I can't even tell you how many years, 20 years, that I haven't had a kid getting ready to go back to school with books and school supplies and uniforms and things like that. And it's a different kind of getting ready to go. It's a whole move, right, for college. And nobody's staying behind. It's just weird.
I
So
think
I
that's
think it's a
weird, yeah.
different feeling this summer.
Are you allowing yourself to think about what it's gonna be like when fall hits? And yeah, your schedule has completely changed because now it's just you and you don't have to think about,
Mhm.
taking someone to school, picking them up, taking them to clubs, practices, whatever they have going on. And
Yeah, or all the events that all the school events that happen.
mhm,
I
mhm,
think, I don't know, I think I have mixed feelings about it. I think in a way, I'm going, okay, this is a new stage of life for me too.
mhm,
And what does that look like for my husband and I? What does it look like for us to be empty nesters? And what does it look like for me in like a career, like work wise, passion wise? What am I, do I have more time to do stuff? Where do
right?
I want to put time and energy? But I think it's also like a really hard um, slap in the face that my kids are growing up and gone
Oh
and
my
all
gosh.
over the
Really?
country. Like none of them are close or
Yeah,
will be close,
yeah.
And having three adult children kind of blows my mind because I think, how am
I
I
know.
that old? And how can it have gone by so fast?
I think that is the truth. Like, how are we this old?
Yeah.
How did we get here? It does go
Yeah.
by so completely fast. I think I'm kind of excited on one hand because it's exciting to sort of be able to um, open up opportunities for myself again.
Hmm.
But yes, there's that part where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not adhered to such a specific schedule of making sure, taking my child to school, picking them up, taking them to all the different things and doing all the different things for them. So
Right.
it's just like, oh, this is going to be really interesting on
I
how it's
know.
going.
And you think like even dinners will look different. Like
Yes,
we can eat a sandwich and it'll be fine and not have to worry about making a big dinner. Do you know what I mean?
I know it's going to be fast. It's like you don't have to think about I have to make dinner for, everybody or so many people. It's
Right.
gonna be like you and maybe your husband. Um, and that's all you have to think about.
Yeah. It's gonna
But
be interesting. It's definitely gonna be
yeah,
a transition phase. I think we should probably come on in like October and see how you and I are doing.
I know. Definitely check up with us or check in with us in October. We'll probably be, I don't know, either crying or joyful
We're
and
laughing. I don't
happy.
know. Who knows? We're both. We're both.
Or both.
Our
Or
other
both for
question
sure.
was, are you having a ball or are you buried in the sand?
Yeah.
What did you feel like?
Okay, so that's so funny because when we talked about that, it actually kind of more triggered a memory for me and just how
Mm,
and the realization like how fast things change, especially when you have kids. And
yes.
you think like it's just so funny because when my son was little, it's like every summer was getting prepared for summer, was, making
Mm,
sure all the sand toys were ready to go and packed up and in their bag and cleaned and ready to be used again, making sure that we had, the water bottles ready to go and the snacks and the, blankets were washed and everything was like packed in the car and at any moment you could just do it. And summers were spent, either going to the beach or making play dates with friends or meeting friends at the park, going to the sand and water park. And it was constantly this like entertaining, right?
Right.
And it's
Hmm.
so funny because as you just think like that's going to be your summer every summer, and you forget that they grow and change. And so your summers are growing and changing as well. And it was just kind of weird to realize that I don't have to pack up sand toys and I don't have to make sure there's a blanket. I don't have to take, this child to the park anymore or make play dates or anything like that. And it just changes so fast. It just
It
changes
does.
very, very quickly. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't ever feel like getting buried in the sand. But I feel like it just kind of gets overwhelming at some points
Hmm.
because it's almost going back to like keeping up with the Joneses or keeping up with everybody else and making sure that your child, I almost felt like I had to make sure my child was constantly entertained or constantly
Happy
had
and something to do.
something to, yeah, had
Yeah.
something to do. Because I felt like some people like just have their summers planned out such to a T. Like this weekend
Hmm.
we're going here, the next weekend we're gonna go there, and then we're gonna spend a week in this place, and then we're gonna do camping in that place. And do you know what I mean? It was
I
a lot.
do know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a lot.
Yes.
And I feel like
It is.
when are you just taking some downtime? I mean, I think there's something to be said for just taking moments at home or
Hmm.
just to yourself. I mean, we have a hammock in our backyard that we set up during the summer or and a like a swing. And
Hmm.
we absolutely just love just sitting back there at different parts of the day when it's nice out and just listening to the birds, listening to nature, just hanging out, having nice talks, drinking iced tea. It's like
Yeah.
those are just as much enjoyable as constantly
It's the
running
trips.
from
Yeah.
one place to the next and having to
Yeah.
constantly pack and repack
Hmm.
and think about planning this or planning that and go, go, go. Not to say
Yeah.
like that's not enjoyable for everybody. I'm sure there's some people who absolutely love that and thrive on that. But I think there's so much value in just allowing yourself to just be, to just
Hmm.
enjoy. I mean, when we were kids, like I feel like our generation, like summers were um
Outside.
outside riding bikes to your
Mhm.
friend's house, riding bikes to the park,
Yeah.
riding bikes to the
Yeah. Who has the
7-Eleven
pool?
and
We're going to
getting,
their house.
yeah, riding bikes to the convenience store and getting popsicles.
Hmm.
I mean, laying in the grass, like just laying
Hmm.
there and looking at the clouds.
Yeah. Reading a book outside or
Right,
yeah.
right.
I think we're in this habit of we have to go, go, go all the time. And I
Yes,
think taking that break to say, okay, I don't have to go right now. I can sit out by the pool. I can sit out in the evenings and just talk with everybody. And I mean, that is the great thing about having older kids now too, is we can
yes,
just sit and chat
yes,
and things like that.
yes.
But there is something to be said for not scheduling everything. I mean, there's so much scheduled as it is. Like, I just want to just sit and be for a little while.
Well, I think also like with the pandemic happening, I guess I was kind of hoping it made people realize like just being at home and being kind of in your own environment for a moment is not
Yeah,
necessarily a bad thing. Like you
yeah,
don't have to go somewhere
all the time.
all the
Yeah,
time. You don't have to be entertained by going out all the time.
right.
And I'm not saying like holding yourself up is like the best Like,
Yeah.
but it's just, you don't have to go somewhere every single day or all the time to be entertained.
Well, I think it's about making those memories, especially this summer, even the small ones, like playing a game at home or
Yes.
making dinner together or
Yes.
whatever. Especially, I
Yes.
think we're in this stage of it's just about over. Like our kids don't really need
Yeah.
us like they used to. It's a different kind of need. And so it's really just enjoying every little moment with them, not just the big, like we took a vacation or something like that,
Right.
but definitely the
Right.
little moments.
And I feel like that's also
Yeah.
preparing them for the life ahead, right? Like helping them to
Yeah.
learn how to be independent, helping them learn how to just be themselves and not have to rely on, like, oh my gosh, I have to fill my schedule because that's what I've always done with my family.
Well, and I think the downtime helps them be creative. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like I have to figure out what to do because nobody's putting anything in front of me. Like
Yes.
I have a table that has been taken over as the art table, I guess. And so there's constantly an art project happening on the table, but that's great because when she's bored, she's at the art table,
Right.
and she's creating something
Yeah.
and not just going, oh, what do I do now? What do I do now?
Right.
So I think there's creativity in that boredom or that being home and having downtime.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree. Definitely for sure. And I love like doing the little things, like making dinner together or you know, I had my son help me outside in the yard, like putting together um a rocking chair or getting the
Aw.
seat cushions all washed and put out. Things like that. You just they're little things and you consider them tasks, but actually I feel like they're also not only bonding moments, but they're moments of like, oh, okay, so this is what I need to do, right?
Mhm.
This is how I do things.
Yes.
This is how I clean the cushions, or this is how I put them out.
Right. Life lessons. Life
Life
lessons.
lessons.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Life lessons.
have I have one more thing I got to tell you because this is fantastic. My daughter's best friend's dad is a restaurant owner, and he is doing for them in a couple weeks a cooking class, a college cooking class.
I
He
love
is going
it.
to take them all over to his house and and teach them how to make budget meals in dorm room.
I love it. That is
So it's life
awesome.
lessons. It's things like that. Like, let's make it fun. Let's have a good time, but let's
Yes.
also, you know, help
I
them out a little
love
bit.
I love that so much because I feel like if all of us parents started to do things like that, like how
Hmm.
amazing would that be? Like take groups of kids and just say, okay, let me show you this skill.
Yes. How to do your laundry.
Oh my gosh. Well, luckily I taught mine really young. So he's been
Same,
he's
same.
been doing
So
his
they're
for
good with
quite a while.
laundry.
Yeah, they're good with laundry, but yeah, it's just all the other things, like cleaning the bathrooms and doing all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, June went by super fast, for me at least, super fast.
Oh
And
yeah.
July is coming up very soon, tomorrow. And we're talking about sailing into your dreams. So we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button below. And Yvette and I are going to be back in full swing this month. Hopefully, we're getting it all back together after the graduation craziness. But
Yeah.
we'd love to hear from you. And what do you want to hear about? And thanks for joining us and share if you thought this was a great conversation and you want your friends to hear. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.